Travelers, welcome back to another episode of Connecting Over Coffee, and today we're going to be talking about Spain with my good friend, fellow traveler, and also multimedia artivist, Roberto Enamorado.
AKA Roberto in Love.
AKA Roberto in Love.
Love now.
Well, so, yeah, I mean, that's the literal translation, by the way.
Yes,
Enamorado means in love.
Yep.
Which is actually really nice, actually.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
So, just to start, Bert, tell me, what was the first stamp in your passport?
The first stamp was Honduras.
Why is that?
Because my mom used to take me to Honduras all the time. By force. She was like,
force.
you have to go. And like, yeah, and I was there at the airport with my arm broken. And
like, you need to go.
We need to go. Yep. It's probably one of the best things that has ever happened, going over there regularly.
I'm sure, actually, because I know you were really afraid of airplanes, so I'm sure it was a twist in the arm.
Yeah, a little bit of that, too. I think because my first flying experience was me getting sick and me not knowing what the hell was a plane, like how it felt. So it just sucked. I was like, this is my first time. And then when I got there, I got hit by a rock. Anyway. That was the beginning of my relationship with travel.
Yeah, we've got videos to prove that too. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But since then, how many countries have you been to?
I've been to a lot of countries. 13 roughly.
Oh, you have now. You have like an approximate. Like,
I think it's 13.
It's been 13.
I think it's 13.
13.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not too far. I think I have 19 under my belt, so you catching up.
Little by little, yeah.
Okay. What would you say is the most beautiful place you've ever seen?
Seen?
Yes,
beautiful place. Damn, with my eyes, not with anything else. Okay.
No, just with
just
your
with
eyes.
my eyes. Okay.
The two up here. Okay.
I see. All right. Damn. Murcia comes to mind. It's
What's Murcia?
It's on the northern part of Spain, right above Portugal. It's on the very tip. I think it's where they believe there was like the end of the world. You know.
Huh.
I believe that's the same area.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah. In particular, I think was the fact that, well, it was a very emotional experience, also very beautiful and just aesthetically, like just a bunch of rocks, waves crashing, like it just sounded really nice, looked really nice, lighthouse in the background. And even though I got there early, but even as it became midnight, like even at that late, it was still like a little bit of a purple hue in the sky.
Nice.
So yeah,
it was like all the elements coming together to just form this like ultimate
pow!
Picture, painting, if you will.
Yeah. So,
awesome. Okay.
So and I'll probably remember some other things. I'll be like, no, wait, that other time.
And the other thing was way more beautiful.
Yeah, right. I'll be like, wait, yeah, probably. Hold on.
I got this. So Spain. Yes, we all about it.
Great.
How did you go about planning that trip?
I didn't plan anything.
Yeah, no, you didn't plan. Come on, you had to plan something.
I planned this much.
Then how'd you prepare for it?
I bought a round trip ticket.
Okay, that's for preparation.
Voila.
No. Why you lying?
I'm not. That's exactly what I did.
You just went, no plans.
I just got, no plans. Just got a round trip ticket, Madrid.
But did you know what cities you were going to hit up?
No.
Not at all.
Not a damn thing.
So you're just like, I'm just going to go and then see what's up.
Yep. And I ended up going to 11 different cities.
How long did you go for?
I think it was in Spain for 24 days.
11 cities, 24 days. I cannot do math right now.
Yeah, I can never do math, so
that'd be
better
good.
than I am.
Okay. I know this, but since they don't, do you speak the language?
See.
Sí.
Un poquito, por favor, de español.
Enamorado.
Yeah,
Okay. I know Spain uses the euro, right?
Yeah.
What's your process for exchanging your currency from the American dollar to the euros? What do you do?
That's my process. My process was, let's see how much money this would get me while I'm here. That was my process.
How am I gonna live?
Yeah, how am I gonna do this? Yeah, I'm gonna have to sell my butt in a corner. Like, no, but usually my process is, especially if I'm going to dangerous countries, I exchange money here first.
Okay.
And so I stack up on cash here and just keep it on the low and just keep moving when I get to the airport, and that's
just, like,
it.
Walk through.
Yeah, Spain, I don't think that was I wasn't concerned with safety or anything like that. So I think it's just, I'm pretty sure I exchanged something while I was here.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like full.
Just to get like at least the foot, like
yeah,
just
something.
to get
Because I
going.
didn't plan anything. I just got a round trip ticket.
So when you were here, did you do it through your bank, or did you like go to actually one of those like currency places?
Good question. I don't remember,
Okay.
but the options I go for, I check with the bank to see what the rates are first.
Sure. Okay.
Then I check an exchange place that's nearby here, since we're in the tourist area.
We're in Times Square, by the way. Just so.
Yeah. And if not, what do I compare it with? Or I just exchange it over there when I get to the country. Because sometimes at the airports they might give you a better rate. But
sometimes it varies like all the time. Sometimes they'll be like, "Dang, that's pretty good," and they're not taking commission. And then sometimes it's like, "Ooh,
yeah,
that's expensive for my blood."
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and then so while you were there, where did you stay? Like, what were your accommodations like?
Mostly hostels.
Okay.
So to track back, let's see, Madrid was a hostel. After that, I went to Toledo. Oh, that was not a hostel. That was a cool story. I'm going to throw that in there.
Okay.
I was traveling and just I wasn't humping. I wasn't humping. I was hopping. I wasn't humping yet. I was hopping over walls and like exploring the area, shirtless, sweaty, thirsty as fuck, and hungry and a little bit tipsy because Spain is what got me to the habit of drinking, which for a while was cool. You know? Yeah, so I was really, really thirsty, really, really hungry, and I just asked some lady in the street. I was like, "Hey, like, you know, a spot that we can eat at? No, that I can get some food at." And she was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna go eat. You come along?" I was like, "Yeah."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we went and we started to kick it, and she ended up being a person who, like, she was a poet, she organized events too. And at the time, I had recently organized an event called Raw and Organic, where I met he came to this show, you know, we're not going to mention any names, you know, but he's in the vicinity and holding his laugh a lot. You know,
I'm sure.
Yeah. So anyway, so I just did that event, and she did something very similar, and I was like, "Oh shit, why are you an artist too? Oh yeah, you do poetry, oh snap!" And she's like, "Yeah," and then it became an hour of oh snap, and
That's
like,
the
and
best
then we just
experience.
yeah, it was really cool. So I'm just like, okay, you think about it. I'm not a math person. You don't know that by now.
I think you know.
You know now. I suck at math. But I do respect and think about, like, when it comes to probability a lot. I'm good at estimating. Now this, I have no clue. I'm guessing it must be quite difficult from a probabilistic standpoint. Somebody who just did similar work here in New York, getting to some random ass place without a plan, meeting somebody with similar stuff, it's just like from a number standpoint, it's probably highly improbable. But it happened.
I think this is where people say that's why it's a small world.
Yes.
Because it is like this.
Yep. And that okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Oh, like, you want to chill some more? Like, my daughter's coming. You want to kick it for a bit?" I was like, "Yeah." So we hung out some more, and then she told me that she was promoting her grandfather's work. She got a museum that has work up there, and so she's like, "Yeah, if you want to come stay over with us." I was like,
Like, so, like, yeah, sure, it's cool. Like,
Oh my
I never met this lady. And so, yeah, so stayed over, and then in the morning we went to the museum, and it was...
So no humping.
It was no humping, there was no humping.
Keep it clean. We keep
Yeah,
it clean
that
here.
was definitely PG in the state PG.
Well, that's awesome. That's amazing that she had that much trust.
Right.
And vice versa, because you just never know, you could walk
I
into
could have gotten jumped or
been
something.
trafficked,
Like,
you know, sex
right.
trafficked,
You never know.
forced humping.
Forced humped. Or humping.
Forcibly, though.
Right. So that's how you know. Like, I'm just like, damn, we really like did it off in the jump.
Yeah.
And then, so let me say there. That was one night, and then after Toledo, I went to Madrid for a bit. Then I took a bus to Pontevedra, Raxo area, where Marilyn's from.
Like our friend Marilyn.
Our friend Marilyn, who's on the cover of this book with her you know.
Shameless promo.
There you go. Yeah. I did this by the way, and her buddy over here.
Her buddy, that's her hubby.
That's her hubby.
Her hubby.
Hubby. So
She will
this
not
is
forgive you for that.
lifelong. This is some serious stuff. But anyway, yeah, this is them. And that's actually where I took the picture of them underwater, kissing.
Yeah, that's so good though.
Yeah, so I met them there, and then when I was in Raxo, hanging out with them, I asked if I could sleep on the beach. So I slept on the beach. I'm like, you sure? You can just stay at our crib? And I was like, no, really, I really want to sleep on the beach.
I want
Like,
this experience.
are you sure? Like, yes, like, it's okay. Did you have a blanket? Sure. So they gave me like a quilt or something. The video's going, right?
It's going.
Let's keep
It's
the
going.
conversation going.
Okay.
Good, great. All right. So where was I?
I don't know.
I was sleeping on the beach.
You were sleeping on the beach
Yes,
in
and
Raxo.
Yeah, yeah. And
España.
yeah. And what's cool about, I'm sure in a lot of countries, is that beaches are abundant and beautiful beaches are abundant as well.
True.
So I had the whole beach to myself and decided to bathe there. They had a shower there and just, you know.
In the nudes.
Yep. And it was
there
cool.
still nobody there when you were doing that?
There was still no. I hope nobody was. You know? I mean, I don't know. As far as I can tell, nobody was
Nobody's
there,
there.
but you never know.
Wow, I've never done that. That
Yeah.
would be super cool.
So yeah, it was really cool. A whole beach, private beach, basically, at least for a few hours. Knocked out, woke up
You're a
to
rich
the
man.
sun. Yeah, it felt that way. So a lot of the things that we like aspire, we save money for to have, like people acquire a private area, a private beach area, and all this stuff, right? And so like a lot of people, that's just part of the lifestyle. Like, you know, you have a lot of that privacy without going through a lot of the stuff that we go through to acquire these privileges.
Yeah.
So yeah, slept on the beach there. That's Raxo, and then from there I went to Santiago de Compostela, a little bit more north, yeah, and then hostel again, and then went to Muxia, and that was amazing.
The most beautiful place we've ever seen.
That was, yeah, and a lot of it is also because of where I was emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up going to Spain because I was inspired by, indirectly, this girl I was getting over, which we watched a movie online called The Way. Cool ass movie.
The Way?
The Way.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's about this Shaolin monk. No, it's not about a monk. It's about this guy and his relationship with his son, and things don't work out too well for his son, who's going to go on a pilgrimage, and so he decides to do it on his behalf. And so anyway, they're going through this pilgrimage, and one of the places is Muxia.
Okay.
Which you don't find out about till the end of the movie, because the end of the pilgrimage, technically.
Spoilers.
Yes, it's hashtag spoilers. It starts in France, ends in Spain.
Yeah. Oh, I know which pilgrimage you're talking about.
In Santiago de Compostela, but there's actually more to that. The actual ending is Muxia. And so I went there, and to see that, and to like relive what I was watching on film, and to relive it there, and see that like. It was just an explosion of stuff going on in my brain. So yeah,
it's like coming to life. It's like it's a bit surreal. Those kinds of moments,
right. Yeah.
for sure.
And then to experience it, and it to be even cooler. Sometimes you see things on TV or wherever you see them or you read about them, and it's like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then like when you go there, it's like, oh my god, when I come here, And, and this was like the polar opposite. It was just like, damn.
It lived
this
up to it.
could not have been any cooler.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a beautiful experience. And then after Muxia, I went back to Santiago de Compostela. while I was having some food, I decided to order a ticket to Barcelona. In Barcelona, another hostel, actually 2 hostels. And then I took a ferry, a cruise. What's the right term for that? Those big ass boats with the logos on them. Cruise ship.
I guess.
Whatever.
One
of those big ass boats. I took one of those big ass boats to Palma, Mallorca. And I stayed at the friend of a client I had. So I was telling everybody I was going to Spain. That's one of the tips that I give to people. If you have a goal or aspiration, tell people about it.
Put it out in the world.
Yeah, put it out there, because you'll be surprised how many people try to help you. And also because you're putting yourself on the spot to say, hey, I'm going to acquire this or do this. And so it's just like, okay. And then people start asking you about it. So what about that trip? You know?
No, you're right. And they give you new things to think about. It's like, oh, what are you about this? And you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. Oh yeah, you got a point there. Let me look that up.
So that and me doing that, she was like, oh, I have a friend that lives over there. She's like, maybe you can stay at her crib. And I was like, all right, cool. So that's what happened. I stayed over at her house overnight, met her son, and was hanging out there. I think just like really 1 or 2 nights, not for too long.
Yeah.
And then I took one of those big ass boats again to a place called Denia. Did not stay there. I just took a bus to Sevilla. Sevilla is really cool, in particular because of la ciudad de las artes y las ciencias. It's awesome. Like, that place looks like what a lot of like technocratic, scientific people, whatever. That's a really general term. That's probably the wrong term.
Means. What does that
Futurist.
even mean?
Futurist.
Okay.
A lot of designs that futurists create look like what that place is.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so when I got there, I was like, oh, this exists already. So all these people that say it can't be done, it's like, yo, y'all need to come over here, because like it's happening.
Yeah.
You know, the excuse that people make to not change or not want to change or see change, it's just like, dude, there's so many people already doing it. So that Sevilla is really cool, because I also hear, I wasn't there long enough to experience it, but there's lots of festivals in Sevilla as well. I'm sorry, not Sevilla, Valencia. That's in Valencia.
Okay.
That's
I'm
in
sure
Valencia.
Sevilla has some though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. So after Valencia, where did I end up? I think I went to Malaga. Yes. So hostel there, then another hostel in Malaga. In Malaga, I was thinking about going to Morocco.
Okay.
At the time I was going, the owner of the hostel suggested to me, he's like, look, I think it's a terrible time for you to go to the Middle East right now.
It's not the Middle East, it's Africa.
Okay, thank you for correcting me. Sure. So because of...
But I understand what you're saying, because it's like a mostly Muslim kind of...
Yeah, and I think it's because, is it Ramadan? When they're like fasting.
Fasting is Ramadan, yeah.
Okay.
So it was Ramadan for them?
Yeah.
So they'd be hangry.
And it's not because of that, but I think it's because a lot of, I think the businesses and just
and they'd be circulating.
Right.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be as friendly.
He was like, dude, it's just, it's not even the friendliness or lack of, it's just the fact that commerce won't be moving the same way.
Yeah.
So,
it's not tourist friendly, is what I'm saying.
Right, yes, absolutely. Yeah. And so, yeah, he was like, dude, honestly, you'd have a better experience going there at a different time. And I was like, all right. And my funds were really tight. My time was limited at that point. And I was like, all right, what am I going to do? He's like, I mean, I suggest, kick it over here for a little bit longer and then check Granada out. I told him that I had an interest in seeing it's not tango. What's that other thing where they stomp the floor and like, hey, blah, blah.
Flamenco.
Yes. Oh
yes.
my gosh, yo. See that.
Wait, where did you see flamenco though?
I mean, throughout the whole trip.
Okay.
I mean, Madrid, it was like, it's kind of watered down, but I did see it there. In Malaga, it was pretty whack. But it was there.
Where was the best place to see flamenco personally?
As far as I can tell, Granada.
Okay.
There's this place called La Cueva de Rocio. Yo, I'm so happy this guy recommended. He recommended it to me. Mm-hmm. So I get there. No, hold up. He recommended I go to Granada.
Okay, yeah.
So I went there and I saw the Alhambra and all that stuff. It's just...
That should be amazing.
And while I was there, I started asking people, and I saw somebody who I'm guessing was a gypsy. I said, hey, what's the best spot? And she was like, check out La Cueva de Rocio. And I was like, is it Rocio or Rosario? One of those cuevas. Check them out.
I'll have to look it up. Put the
So yeah, so it's either
the...
Cueva de Rocio, Cueva de Rosario. One of those. It's probably Rocio. But I went there and the show was great.
Was it expensive?
It's yeah, I mean it was like maybe like 27 euros or something. I mean, but
it was worth it.
It was absolutely worth it.
Because I know how much you don't like to spend things that aren't like worth the experience.
Yeah, it's like if you don't have to spend that much amount on something, like why do it? You know?
Yeah.
And that was totally worth it, even if you paid more for it. Like, it's a restaurant, so you know you grab some food while you're there.
Sweet. So like dinner and a show type of thing.
Yeah, and the way the acoustics work too, because a lot of them literally build businesses and houses within the mountain. Mm-hmm. So you're in like this cave.
Nice.
You're sitting about maybe 2 arms length of distance from the other side of the people observing the show, and right in between is the show. And it's like in your face, and so the sound is just like boom, the artists are right there, like everything, the experience phenomenal. I was like, you know, it was great. So while I was in Granada, I also stayed at a hostel.
Okay.
After that,
going back to
the hostels, going back to that. And then Sevilla was another hostel. And then I flew out, I believe, to Portugal because I did not plan how I was going to get there. And so last minute, I got a ticket, which turned out to be really expensive. Another thing, too, about not planning. It could be really expensive.
Because you're not looking at pricing.
Yeah, you're just like going for stuff. And sometimes it also turns out to be cheap, not because of the lack of planning, but because you're being extremely resourceful and you have that resourceful way of thinking. So you're like, what should I not pay for? What do I not need to pay for? Going back to your point.
Yeah.
Is that if you can sleep on a beach, like sleep on a beach. It's a safe place. Take advantage of that. You know, a lot of those things, like safety, ends up becoming an asset that can really save you a lot of money, depending on where you are and what you decide to do with that. So all those little things start to add up, and so like that's where I saved money, was in hostels or staying at people's houses, or sleeping on the beach.
Where did you book your hostels? Like
Hostelworld.
You did Hostelworld. Okay.
Is the bomb. At least it was back then. I still think I still recommend it.
I still do it.
Yeah, and so to share, when I was going to Barcelona, I was gonna book it from this other website. And this is to share how companies put markups on other people's business. And so like you can take a product that's from here and like sell it for 10 times more somewhere else, and that person won't know the difference.
Gotcha.
If they don't know the difference.
Yeah.
So when I was gonna book that spot in Barcelona, it was like $300 something. It was some crazy amount at a hostel for one night.
That's not even.
So because of all
that's
these,
like a hotel price, like a really like upscale hotel price.
Right, and I was going, and I had my own preconceived notions about Barcelona being a very industrious place and having similarities to New York. So because of these preconceived notions, I was about to make the purchase. I was like, oh my God, it's expensive, you know, just like Japan must be, or South Korea. Like, it's probably just the way it is. And I was like, nah, we're going to look again. And so so I went. I'm
going to go back to Hostelworld.
Yeah. So I went back to Hostelworld, and I was just like, then I got it, the same location, the same place, for about 42 euros. So it was just like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's
important. And the world makes sense again.
yeah. And so, you know, when you're about to make a purchase, especially when you're somewhere where you don't know and you're not too familiar with, always double check, you know.
Yeah, cross check.
Try to
research.
Negotiate, you know, don't be too quick to be like, okay, just like here's the money.
Yeah.
Because you get into that habit, and then that ends up being really expensive too. Like, get into the habit of like taking a moment to pause and go, how am I using this money again? How's this working out? Why am I spending it here with you? And why are we spending this much on this?
Yeah.
And if you can take the moment to do that, you start to get into the habit of doing that in everything, and then you end up doing a lot with not as much.
No, that's a good tip.
Yeah. So yeah, hostels.
What's one thing you would recommend to visitors to Spain to either see, eat, and do? Like, what should they see, eat, and do? But one thing for each one.
Okay. See, eat, and do. So I'll provide a formula first, as opposed to specific locations.
Okay.
Think about why you're traveling, what your goal is, and do not limit yourself to the touristy locations. And talking to people in those areas, like branch out, go to non-tourist areas, and ask them, because in asking tourist locations, that's what they're going to point you to. It'd be like coming to New York, like, oh, Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty, Rockefeller Center, and like, you know, it's like, okay. But if you go outside of here, you know, let's just say you met somebody in some part of in Bushwick or something, and like, oh, there's this really dope spot, you know, or like, oh yeah, there's a speakeasy, or you know, like that alley you took me to a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you find those things. Everything else you can pretty much Google, but that would be number one, the formula. Don't stick to the touristy locations. Ask locals who are not from the tourist area.
I have a question regarding that though. So what if I couldn't speak Spanish? Like, how would I go about asking locals?
Then I would use an app, Google Translate, or make a friend that can speak the language and trying to find a way to kick it. That would be it, you know. So if you don't know the language, then
just flashcard it to them.
Yeah, and they'll point
But,
you.
like,
They'll type it in, and then you know maybe you take that and copy paste that, or keep it somewhere in your notes, and then you take that to a cabbie and be like,
communicated that way before, dictionary wise.
Right. Yeah. So that's how I would do it. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and as far as food, now we're going a little bit more specific.
Yeah.
Just eat what they have. You know, even if you don't particularly like I'm not a big seafood person, but like Spain and certain parts of Spain are known for their seafood. So like I don't want to negate myself of that experience. If you're adventurous, not just with where you are physically, but also when it comes to experiencing things as far as nutrition and food and culture on that level, oh, you guys eat raw leaves from some random ass plant. All right, I might try it out. You know, like I don't do that. I don't go to Central Park and picking leaves. You know, but like, you know, if that's something that people
the locals did it.
Unless right. So if I see the locals and I was running around and be like, all right, let's try it out. Boop,
well, the locals here eat like mostly pizza.
Yeah. Pizza's growing on trees here.
Pluck them off.
So like, as far as food, just ask the locals. But I mean, over there, tapas is big. Also, if you do not drink, just understand that everything comes with wine. Everything comes with wine. You know, like buy a computer, they ask if you want wine with it, your toilet paper, your art supplies. No, but really, like, there's so many things that come with wine.
They want you to be inspired with the art. So
oh yeah, people must get really inspired in Spain, which is probably when they got some dope ass art. But yeah, man. I mean, seafood definitely. Wherever they have pastries too, because each city has its own cultures and its own food sometimes. So like up north, they had like a lot of like octopus and stuff like that. And when I was in Madrid, it was mostly like tapas and things like that. Barcelona, I had, oh my god, it was so good.
The food in Barcelona, I have to say, was really
gosh. Good. I don't even know where I went. I know the vicinity, and it was so pleasurable that I know I can find it again. Just put me there, and I will find this place. It was just tapas. It was crazy expensive. Like, I was tight on dough, and I was like, but I want to experience this thing. So I bought like 3 or 4 different appetizers. They were like this big. And they were amazing. They usually
aren't that big. The tapas are like pretty tiny. You have to buy a few to like. Right. It's like actually, it's kind of like eating a bunch of appetizers.
Yeah. But I'm so happy I did it. Like, it was so good. It was just savory. It was everything that could be right with food and dessert on lockdown. It was just, yeah, I'm so happy I spent the money. What else? I mean, yeah, seafood, pastries, drink, you know. Even if you don't drink too much, just take a little sip. And don't get into a bad habit like I did for a while. See.
You said like
see.
Yeah.
Art. See as much art as you can. What's really cool about Spain is that it's one of the meccas of a lot of things when it comes to art. And so you can see a lot of like the mainstream Mecca-ish type stuff, which is cool too, but they also have like a lot of underground, unseen culture and like maybe something that you won't see hanging in a museum. Like I went to this place, I forgot, they call it the Triangle of Gold, I believe.
Okay.
There's 3 really known museums. It's kind of like having the
Where?
MoMA and like the Whitney and like some other museum.
Which city though?
In Madrid.
Okay.
And I went to one of them and it was just like, the exhibit was basically a bunch of white people on portraits. It was a whole floor of that shit. And I was like, wow, folks. Is that how we're using space these days? So yeah, I was totally bored out of my mind. I left. But if that interests you, like, there's tons of like really like like I mean they got it. They got a lot of that. Yeah, because they also had like a Dali exhibit there while I was there, which was really cool and interesting. It was more like a documentary experience because I got to learn, not just see like his work, but like his process, a little bit of his function, dysfunction. That was really awesome.
Massive, like a lot of dysfunction in Dali for sure.
Yeah. And there's also like a lot of street art, and so this is where I'm going to plug in as far as seeing things. If you're into biking, or even if you're partially into it, you don't have to be like a crazy like bicyclist, but rent out a bike and explore the town that way, because you get to see a lot more faster and you'll be losing less energy. Whereas if you're walking for an hour, you'll cover in an hour with a bike like so much more.
Yeah.
And so, and you'll be more comfortable being more curious, because you'll be like, you know what, let me check out what's down 10 blocks down that way.
Yeah.
But to do that on slippers, you know, and then go, this was pretty boring. Shoot, now I got to go back that way and then keep exploring. You know what I mean? So your energy levels are going to really drop. And so when you're traveling on a short amount of time, make the most of it. And so think about how you're traveling, what you're doing with your time, your energy levels. And so bike, I'm huge on that, because me, like, for example, Sevilla has really, really great graffiti. Like, their graffiti is on a whole different level. And I stumbled on it by chance. Like, I went to a bus terminal, I saw this really cool mural on the whole terminal. And I rented out a bike. I don't know if it was the same day or the next day. And I was just rolling around. I was like, I'm just going to go to the river. And I went to the river, and the river is like miles of murals. I was like,
wow.
Oh, what? Like,
you just hit like the gold mine.
Crazy. Yeah, it was phenomenal. And like, most of it was really high quality stuff. Like, I was like,
mind blown.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And then after that, like, across the bridge. And anyway, so I was riding bike. Actually, it was beautiful. It was phenomenal, just from for me, my own life experience. So like, as you know, I have a back injury, and I was really getting into more nutrition to address my pain, and was on a supplement for a bit. But that was the first time in a very long time. Like, I was riding bike from 3 in the afternoon to 5 in the morning. I got like a little bit of an ache, and I was like, yo, I have not been able to do stuff like this in a gazillion years.
Yeah.
And that was my last day in Spain, was me renting out that bike, riding out that many hours and seeing all that art and people, and I was just like, whoa, this really just happened. Like, it was phenomenal. So yeah, ride a bike, go see some street art, don't only ask tourists, and eat anything and everything. You know, that would be my suggestion.
Awesome. Okay, so lightning round questions. First answer that comes to mind, spit it. Ready?
Tweet.
New York City or Granada?
Granada.
He's like, no contest. Cruises or flights?
flights. I haven't been on a cruise.
You said you went on a cruise.
Oh, I did. You're right.
With the logos on it.
You're totally
Or was
correct.
that really a ferry?
No, it was you're right. Yeah, flights.
Spanish or Italian cuisine?
Oh wow.
Decisions.
Italian.
Italian?
Yeah.
Okay. Just as like we were just talking about Spain, you're like, nah.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Italian.
Italian. They got that.
Book or a movie?
Movie.
Map or Google Maps?
Google Maps.
Traveling alone or with friends?
Both.
Pick one.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of because I travel alone, but I make friends, so I'm not alone a lot.
So you're traveling alone. 'Cause
So
then you
it's
make
like,
friends.
yeah, that's a good way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Softy or gelato?
Depend on where you go.
Terrible.
Dan, you know what? There's this gelato spot, Chelsea Market. Oh yeah, killed Mr. Softy. Gelato. Yeah.
Dry or sweet wine?
Sweet.
Window seat or aisle?
Aisle.
Cappuccino or latte?
Which one's more chocolatey?
I don't know. I don't think any of them are chocolatey.
Well,
But you can probably order a mocha latte. That's chocolatey.
we'll go with that one.
Okay. Oh yeah, I guess I'm sorry. Globetrotter or world traveler?
World traveler.
Museum or street art?
Street art.
I was like, I already know the answer to that. Van Gogh or Picasso?
I don't think I'm into either of them equally.
If you had to choose.
So if I had to choose, do you have a coin?
Oh my God, you are not doing that.
Well, let's see, because whose house was I in Malaga? Who's that?
Picasso.
Okay, so we'll go with Picasso because I was in your crib, yo.
All right, well, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be here and just to talk about your experiences in España.
Thank you for being here.
Oh,
Because, like, I'm actually in my crib. You're actually visiting. It's fucking
totally
awesome. Thank
true.
you.
I'm
Mwah.
back at home for like 2 more seconds.
Yes,
So tell people where they can follow you.
Sure.
Like, where you at?
I'd be walking around Manhattan, you know what I mean? So it'd be like just, you know.
Times Square area.
All right, so the website, robertoandlove.com. The crowdfunding campaign, type in robertoandlove.org. And for videos, type in robertoandlove.tv.
All right,
There
cool.
you go. Yeah, and then Roberto and Love on Instagram,
Yeah,
Facebook,
fine.
LinkedIn,
Just, like
all that
Roberto
stuff.
and Love is
At
really
Roberto
easy.
and Love. Yeah, it's pretty easy. So.
Yeah. All right,
That's
until
right.
next time, stay safe and stay traveling. Hey, fellow travelers, I hope you liked that video. If there is a place or a city or a country you would like to know more about or you're thinking about visiting, please let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, really, truly, check out our other videos. I think you might like them. And also, ring the bell because we release a podcast every other Monday, and then we'll be releasing some extra special content in between each podcast for you. Travel tips, travel advice, inspirational videos. We got lots of stuff. So, and we want you to be aware. We want you to be like the first to know. So definitely ring that bell and then hit the subscribe button, seriously, because we're awesome and you're gonna love this channel so much. So I'm gonna wait until you hit that subscribe button. Did you hit the subscribe button?